On this episode of Main Street Magic, we talk about the soon-to-be defunct Sandcastle Club at the Beach Club and the new Pixar Play Zone at the Contemporary Resort. This is episode 75 of the Main Street Magic podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and in just a bit, I'll have John take over the mic. Now make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at mainstmagic. And don't forget to listen to the Capture the Magic podcast at ctmpodcast.com, and subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to Capture the Magic. Now they release new shows every Monday and Thursday, and then Jared and I release a new Diz Dudes episode every Wednesday on that very same feed. We've also created a Facebook group called Capture the Magic Community, so go out, search for it, and ask to join. Now, today's episode will be in two parts in a way, because with all of the travel that both John and I have been doing this month, he went ahead and pre-recorded his review of the Pixar Play Zone, which we'll get to in just a bit. First, I wanted to talk about the Sandcastle Club, which I know John and I have both mentioned in the past. We both put our children in the Sandcastle Club multiple times so that we could go out and do something like Party for the Senses, or go out for my birthday back in September to Flying Fish, and then check out my favorite Jelly Rolls right there on the boardwalk, even down to just maybe you want a night out to explore World Showcase. Sandcastle Club is a great option, specifically for the proximity to Epcot and to the boardwalk area. Now, this is going away July 1st, along with Lilo's Playhouse at the Polynesian and with the Lion King Kids Club over at Animal Kingdom Lodge. We're not 100% sure what the future holds for these. A lot of the reports that we originally saw when they announced this back in January was that they just weren't popular enough. From my experience, I think that's completely false. Every time we've gone in the past, including just this other weekend, there's been a line out the door at check-in, and they've been plenty full. My guess is it has something to do with insurance costs or making sure that cast members are properly staffed. Now, every single time we've been to the Sandcastle Club, we have seen two of the exact same cast members who are heading it up, or I guess in charge. So I'm really not sure what the true issues are, but I do hope that there is a plan for these in the future. And what it potentially could be is that they bring in a third-party group to manage and to watch over this. So I do hope that we'll see something coming back to these three locations soon. Now, these are for children age 3 to 12 years, and they have to be potty trained, so no diapers, and it's $55 a child. Now, they do have AP and they have DVC discounts, and I believe it was 10%. You're going to call 407-WDW-DINE to book, and you will pay in advance. We have booked as late as maybe 4 to 5 days ahead of time, and we've been okay, but I would still book as far in advance as you possibly could up until this ends in July, the end of July. This runs from 4:30 to midnight, and you have to drop your kid or children off by 5:30 for them to get a meal. So when you check in, you're going to fill out all the normal forms, and you're going to put, in case of emergency, contact. You're going to let them know what hotel you're staying at, what your room number is, your phone number, when you plan to pick them up. And then you're going to get a menu, and your kids get to select from a multiple selection of meals that come with a drink, and then multiple snack options that also come with a drink, and these are all included in that price. Now, during the evening, they're going to have a lot to do, and trust me, we have yet to pick our kids up from this and have them be excited to leave. Every single time they've been disappointed, and they've been there for several hours, and they still love it. There's a whole area for dress up that has all kinds of dress up clothes for both boys and girls. There are video games everywhere, Xbox and PlayStation, with Disney's Infinity and all other kinds of games. There is a little outdoor area that I believe they can go out and play in, when they're supervised. Now there are different activities they'll have each night, and these rotate and of course are subject to change. One of them is the lava flow, where they learn about physics, and they'll build a paper mountain volcano and then watch them explode just like the real thing. So throw it back to your elementary school days when you had to build a paper mache, volcano. That's pretty much what they're doing. There's a Ratatouille cooking school. You join a specialty trained cookie chef and learn how to make chocolate chip cookies, fit for the toughest food critic. Even Remy would agree. This is what our kids did that night. They got to bake chocolate chip cookies right there on site. Absolutely loved it. And then So You Want to Be a Pirate. They're going to train like a buccaneer, and they'll come face to face with Captain Hook. So Captain Hook actually will come visit, and our children have done that in the past as well. I can't say enough good things about the Sandcastle Club. We have not done Lilo's Playhouse, and we had not done the one at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but I imagine they are just as great for children. And, again, we're very fortunate that we get to go down often. So sometimes going down and just having a night out as adults isn't really that big of a deal for us. But for somebody who is there for an extended stay, I mean, these kids clubs can really save your week sometimes. You've had a couple days in the parks, you've done a ton, and you just think it would be great to have a nice relaxing evening out. Maybe grab drinks, grab dinner, or like I said, just walk through World Showcase or go to a park. And to have the opportunity to be there for this length of time at that price is one of the best deals in Disney. I can't do that at home. I can't get a babysitter at home to come in and watch my kids for $55 each, feed them, do activities, and basically watch them for almost 7 hours. So I'm really, really disappointed to see this go away, but I do believe there will be some replacement. One of those replacements is going to be the Pixar Play Zone that John is going to talk about over at the Contemporary. But I hope that they'll take these other 3 locations and maybe just bring in a third party to manage and take care of it all so that Disney doesn't have to be under any sort of scrutiny of training cast members properly or covering insurance or anything like that. We'll just have to see. So, John, I'm really excited to hear about the new Pixar Play Zone because maybe this sets the template for the future. Let me know what you got.
Thanks, Jeremy. So let's talk about the brand new Pixar Play Zone at the Contemporary Resort. So with the Pixar Play Zone at the Contemporary Resort, we all know that for child activity centers, we have had Lilo's Playhouse at the Polynesian, the Sandcastle Club at the Beach Club, and then you've had, I believe, Simba's Play Area at Animal Kingdom Lodge. These are all closing, and if I'm correct, I believe the closing date is June 30th. This is a new thing that they put in at the Contemporary, and they're testing it, and if you have ever done a Disney cruise, this will probably be a little familiar, and the reason it'll be familiar, there's a lot more activities for the kids to do. So they are testing this out. If it turns out to be a success, I believe this is something that they will use and expand out, and maybe take over some of those other locations. So the Sandcastle Club and all that, always fun. The kids had a good time, but it was a lot of, there were a couple activities, but a lot of downtime where they either watched movies or they played video games or did that. A lot more organized here for the Pixar Zone. This is located on the 4th floor of the Contemporary. There used to be an arcade. They have taken the arcade out. One of the things that we have going on here in the state of Florida is there are interpretations of the law that if you play a game and win tokens and turn those tokens in for prizes, that is gambling. Even if it's a Dave & Buster's, even if it's a game room at the Contemporary or whatever resort you're at that has it. So, pulled out the prizes, you were still able to play the games. Now this just goes to the next level. A couple of the games are still in there for the kids to use. Okay? This you can book ahead of time, and we booked and paid ahead of time, which I believe you are required to pay when you book. This is $65 plus tax per child, no current discounts. Nothing for DVC, annual pass holder, anything along those lines. Okay. This, I said, you can start dropping your children off at 5. You must pick them up by 10:30, though the programming starts at 6 p.m. Okay. This is for children 4 through 12. And obviously your child is going to be potty trained. When you walk into this, there are double glass doors. The double glass doors are actually right next to the elevator. It takes you up to go to the monorail or to the security bag screening before you get onto the monorail. So it's right there in that former arcade location. You go in, you check them in, but when you check your child in, you're going to have some choices to make. And the choice you're going to have to make has to do with dinner. So for the children, all the dinners, the main courses are flatbread pizzas. And they had 5 different ones to choose from. So they had just a pepperoni, they had one with meat, they had I believe a gluten-free veggie pizza, a supreme, and one other one. So there's 4 or 5, I believe 5 flatbread pizzas to choose from. You will choose a drink. You will choose a side. You will choose a snack. So all told through the night, I believe there's 5 things that you will end up choosing for your child in the food and drink arena as it gets going. So when they check in, the first thing the children do is they go and they wash their hands. The only part of this area that you can see is the hand washing sink, as well as the door that if you have ever seen Monsters, Inc., there is one of those doors up against the wall. It is a faux door. It's nothing that does anything, but that's the theming of it. I tried to take a picture of the kids just in there washing their hands, and they're like, no photos at all. So, I mean, they charged me and was like, no pictures. So, and also they wouldn't let any parents walk even in there to see what's there. Now, I took a tour before where they allowed me to go around the corner and see back, but I couldn't go back. So it was stand right here next to the desk, and you can visually see what's in there, but you are not taking a tour of this. I guess they just don't want people in there. So 5 o'clock, doors open for registration. 6 p.m., Space Ranger training. So kids identify and battle enemies from Star Command. Who is there during this part for it? There will be a Buzz Lightyear. So Buzz, this has a lot more characters than the other locations, so there'll be a Buzz Lightyear for that. So that starts at 6. 6:45, dinner begins. So again, and on the app or anything it says includes the choice of a flatbread pizza, a healthy side, and a dessert. Allergy-free options are also available. Okay. At 7:45, Woody's Roundup. So here the kids learn the ways of the Wild West with Woody and Jesse, and when they show up for a hoedown. So my kids said it was great, they were fun, and they square danced, and that was Woody and Jesse, and had a great time and learned how to be a cowboy or a cowgirl. At 8:45 is the Piston Cup Challenge. Here, not everybody was able to do it from my understanding of asking the children, but here you will build a race car out of Lego Duplo blocks and you will race it, and if your car isn't one that wins or does that, you are part of the crowd cheering on the cars that continue to go on. So that is very similar if you're at Disney Springs at the Legoland store where you can race the cars there. This, I saw this part, and it's a very similar type track where it's just a little ramp on the way down. A little bit bigger than the one at the Legoland store, but again, you're racing a Lego car that you have built. The kids did make signs, so they do come home with a goodie bag. A goodie bag are different things that they had done throughout it. So there was some crafts and activities, and a flag that they wave for the race. And it comes home in a yellow sling backpack that is not plastic, it's actual material. I won't say cotton, but it's like a material, and it has Contemporary Resort stitched onto it. It's actually a very nice bag, one of the better bags that I've ever seen them give out for any of the events, right? I think at the other kids' clubs, I think we usually left with a plastic bag. So this is a nice sling backpack, but obviously you're paying for it. At 9:30 is the Incredible Dance Party. So Mr. and Mrs. Incredible join the fun, and they teach line dances for everyone to learn. So you're getting the Pixar characters there to play. There are set times when they're not doing the times. There are video games the kids can play and other activities and crafts they can do. A lot of more hands-on. We were told that we were asked what we were doing. We said we were going to Victoria and Albert's. You give all your information in case they need you, but they just tell you that the dance party finishes at 10:15 and it starts at 9:30. So if you want them to finish the dance party, don't come and pick up before 10:15, but you must pick up by 10:30. So that's really what we did. We got back, and I think we had a couple quick minutes to waste to make sure we got to 10:15. We saw a couple people checking people out, so we went in to get the kids. They came out and had a blast. They loved it, raved about the characters there, the fun, the friends that they made, and it was a good night. So the program ends at 10:30, and that closes it. So great opportunity for the kids. I recommend it. Obviously, the price is a little bit more than if you're doing one of the other locations. But if you're staying at the Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower, it's a victory. If for some reason you're at Wilderness Lodge and you can take the boat over to Contemporary, it might be a great thing for the kids if you're going to have a nice dinner, maybe at California Grill for just adults. If you're staying at the Polynesian, you have a choice to make because you have Lilo's camp right there that you can check the kids into, which is a little bit cheaper, and the hours are longer because that runs until midnight. But once that's done at the end of June, you're obviously going to hop the monorail or do something and get them to there. And no different if you're at the Floridian, make a choice. But we were staying at Bay Lake Tower, so this worked out perfect. Huge seal of approval from the kids. Look it up if you'd like to have an adult night out, and realize it's $65 per child, but they feed them dinner. But realize it's $65. They have crafts, they have characters, they will come home with a nice backpack, and you had a nice night out. So hopefully it's something that you guys use. And Jeremy, I'll turn it back to you so that you can tell everybody how they can go ahead and give us a review, tell their friends about us. And if you book the Pixar Play Zone for your children, we'd love to hear about it as well to see how your results compare to ours. So thank you so much for listening.
Thanks so much, John. I think that sounds great. And again, I hope we see more of these pop up, maybe in the locations where they're going away, or maybe even at some other areas, because it's really great to get just an adult night out. And that's whether it's just Rhonda and I, or maybe it's Rhonda, myself, you, John, and Michelle, or maybe we get a whole group. So I hope that something is coming back. Well, that's all we've got today. So thank you so much for listening. As always, go out to iTunes, Google Play, leave us a rating and review because it will help our show grow. And right now, I just want to take a moment, too, to thank all of our new listeners. We've been seeing some really tremendous growth with the show in the past month or two. Once we decided to put together and launch this Capture the Magic network. So again, go out, search for Capture the Magic so you can listen to their episodes on Monday and Thursday. You can listen to Jared and I on the Diz Dudes on Wednesdays. And then right here at Main Street Magic, we're going to be bringing you new episodes every Tuesday and Friday moving forward. So you're pretty much covered Monday through Friday with our entire network. That's all I've got. We'll see you real soon.